Yes, please come in.
Hello, hello, ladies.
Arrrr.
How are you? High energy, I can feel it already coming through the screen. So, okay, I'm going to give you a short and sweet presentation about uh, trends of the future, which I call mega shifts, because I used to talk mainly about trends for corporations and all that. Trends are mainly trends that come and go. You know, they are very quick. There's like fashion trends, technological trends. But when I look back to my life, I can see like the patterns in decades. There's always big shifts happening in decades. There's major things or on a deeper level that are happening. So, for example, in my 20s, I was in, music and event business. We were experimenting a lot with audiovisual, with artists, with musicians. Everything was possible. There was new types of music, electronic music became electronic and all that. And then in the 90s or in my 30s, the internet came. So we started doing global projects, creating a global network, connecting to like minds everywhere globally. And then in my 40s, it was all about mobile technology and mobile innovation. And then 10 years ago, I went to Singularity University. I don't know who knows Singularity University. It's one of the universities in Silicon Valley where it's the top notch of technology, basically, technology innovation, but they also do it with really high impact. They invite students from all over the world to create projects to impact 1 billion people, for example. And there I realized that, whoa, everything becomes connected. Science, technology, or human body, genetics, everything becomes data and everything becomes codable. So, but I also realized that everything was very linear, just from a rational technological perspective. The whole part about ethics was missing, the human aspect of like what is going to happen. Yeah, so we can see all the innovations and the progress with technology, but how it's going to influence human people. So I could see that already a decade ago. It still took me a couple of years before I actually find a way to actually change my own patterns and my own things that I was doing. And then I started a project of personal transformation, through Socratic design, through a friend I had in Spain. And I literally went on a sabbatical in a medieval village to learn about myself, because I realized where I was living then was in the UK, in Cambridge, that everything I was doing at that moment didn't serve me any longer. I could not see next level or next steps any longer in just the way that I was doing things and with the knowledge that I had. So hence I went inwards. And this was also the moment that I met my beautiful wife, Janai. So, and since then we've been on a journey basically on how can we grow ourselves while also growing our relationships, with children. I'm taking care of her 2 beautiful daughters. I have 3 triplet daughters in Belgium from a previous marriage. So I've always been pretty much, surrounded by very feminine energy, I must say. So, and so the last years also, as I work as a futurist, so basically I talk to corporations and organizations or governmental agencies about projections of the future. And the last 5 years, I've been integrating everything that I have learned and how can we make things more conscious? How can we become more aware of what is going on? So, and I also want to ask you this question or be attentive to like, why do you need to be aware of what is happening? Why is understanding the future important? It is important because we can see things on a larger scale, how things are connected, how systems are connected, how they influence each other. Yeah. how the powers are distributed, who has powers, what are the rising powers, and how can you see them growing? What is the political impact of decisions? What is the decision-making process? All these things. What is the social impact of decisions? So everything is literally linked, yeah? And hence now we can look at things from a very holistic perspective, yeah, which we need to do because everything is changing and interconnected all the time, especially with technology. Everything is connected through technology, you know, from health, through fashion, through retail, to our consumer society, everything, our own data is also connected to the internet. So we really need to think deeply about what are the implications of what we are doing with all that. So hence, I'll go to my second slide. Oops.
No, we didn't start.
Oh, you haven't started my presentation yet. Sorry about that. If you could just activate it.
I think it's here. Yes.
Here, yeah.
Okay.
Share screen.
This, and we do play where?
Wait. Here in the beginning. And play. How can I get this out of the way? Can you see my screen? Good. Perfect. So this presentation is called Mind to Heart, and it's actually talking about the 4 mega shifts that I just explained. This is the work of, let's say, the last 2 years of like a lot of research, a lot of discussions with fellow futurists, a lot of dialogues in our communities. It's co-created actually with a lot of people. You know, I don't think that just the model of like, I know it all and I'm going to tell others what to do and how it works doesn't work any longer. I think that model is totally passé. Yeah, so it's also the model of how we used to teach people, of how we used to lecture people in universities. So the top-down model, the pyramidal model of like, I know everything, and the higher I get on the pyramid, the more money I will get, the more status I will get, and my life will be good and secure, is crumbling. Yeah. I believe the future is about co-creation and how can we co-create things together. So hence, how do we move from mind to heart? Yeah, 4 mega shifts, you can see them here. How do we move from separation to unity, from control to trust, from scarcity to abundance, from data to wisdom? I will go through all of them in detail. But today I will focus on the first 2, and in my next session next week, I will focus on the next 2.
Today, can we just focus on the first one? Because we don't have time.
I will have time. Yeah.
Time is up. So if you just cover the first section, we can continue in another session.
Okay, I'll see then how far I go. Yeah. So if you look at this slide, again, you see that the separation, control, scarcity, data are all things from the mind, from the rationale. Yeah. If you look at the heart, it's all about unity, trust, abundance, and wisdom. So they have all a logical sense of how we move from things. So moving from separation to unity is the first one. And this is also the one that is started like, let's say, 400 years ago with the beginning of basically the rational, you know. So I think, therefore I am from Descartes. And we have been starting to separate mind and body. And everything we see now in our society and our systems are all based on that. Yeah, on a separation from mind and body. Everything you see around it on social media is all about me versus we. Yeah, we're all in the same paradigm topics that we can get out of it, apparently. And as long as we don't get out of this rational thinking, we won't change anything. Yeah. As Einstein used to say, we need to learn different things, or we need to think a different way in order to invent new ways. And I also think that the main shift is all about how do we change our thoughts? How do we grow and can literally change our thoughts from all this egocentric and patriarchal centuries thinking and models and systems towards something entirely new and virgin? So In this separation to unity paradigm also, we talk about the embodiment of meaning, purpose, conscious co-creation, rise of the feminine, and spiritual evolution. I will talk about them briefly. Purpose is all about how can we connect to ourselves, to the others, and nature. Yeah. And how can we reinvent our purpose for life? Yeah. Because purpose is something in business and all that, it's usually driven by, okay, we want to change something, but with products or services. But now I think we need to go think on a much larger perspective, a much more holistic way. Yeah. And how can we also see like mind, body, heart as a mega concept of interlinking and interbeing type of things that we are creating. With this slide, I will try to explain that. So if you look at the bottom of the slide, everybody is always influenced by their environment. Yeah, so everything is outside in. We wake up, we check our phones. Yeah, we get messages, we are reacting to messages, but we are not proactive actually in what we want. Yeah. So when we realize we're in that system, we can do something about it. But most people don't even realize that they're in that system. So then in business and all that, we try to change our behavior and capabilities by learning, by designing, by creating, by growing, by operating, but we stay in that bottom part. And the real transformation lies when you can start changing your values and your belief systems. Yeah, because we are still mostly run by centuries old belief systems, or belief systems that our parents told us, or what we learned in school. And when we do Socratic dialogues, we learn how people think differently and have different belief systems also. And how can we learn from each other? By listening to each other. But today, nobody's listening any longer to each other. Yeah, we just have opinions. In social media, just one opinion against the other. But nobody's actually listening, so we cannot create things together. We cannot create a collective intelligence any longer. But when we start from values and new belief systems, we can create new identities and new purposes. And that's where the real transformation lies. So then also we need conscious co-creation. So how do we move basically from the addictive consumerist mindset to a conscious co-creation heart set? Yeah, because everything we see, everything is produced is still in a consumer mindset. It's very polluting, totally unsustainable. It's addictive for everyone. It's addictive for our children. It's addictive for ourselves, watching Netflix or binge watching Netflix and all that. It's literally everywhere. So how do we move actually to start co-creating together? Yeah, I think this is key, and you will also learn this here in this program. How can you co-create together? The future is not any longer about people telling you what to do, but actually how can you co-create together in your neighborhood? How can you design your neighborhood together with the citizens, yeah, the local people? How can you design different ways online, different platforms in a much better way than they are designed now, without any consideration for inclusion or diversity, for example? Yeah. So it's literally about co-creation together. Yeah. And then you're going to love all this one. The rise of the feminine, yeah, is another trend that I see, which is mainly because we have been living in these centuries-old ego-centered thinking and patriarchal systems. And through the exponential influence of internet and technologies, communication technologies, people learn a lot faster. They see also a lot faster. They can see through the things, what is happening. Yeah, and we see that male or white male, middle-aged man behavior doesn't serve any longer. Yeah, but still most companies in the world are run by these middle-aged white males. Plus 70 board members, all male, yeah, and they are still deciding what is happening. It is changing bit by bit. For example, Unilever, they do a lot of work. Actually, they have put these goals of bringing more inclusion and diversity. And they have, I think now on a manager level, 51% of their managers are women. But on the entire workforce, it's still only 38%. Yeah, so there's work to do in every company. And then the next one is from digital to spiritual evolution. With that, I mean, we have been living in this era the last 2, 3 decades. It was all about technology. Everything was about technological growth. How can we connect better to each other? There was a lot of innovation. It was super exciting, but we have been blinded a bit. Yeah. So, oops, we forgot about what life is really about. Yeah. So, and then also the spiritual evolution that we are going through now is the connection with self and also the connection with higher self, because that is really where we can change things. When we change ourselves, when we can go from victimized consciousness to a higher consciousness, which I think you have been experiencing already, yeah, then you can really change things. Yeah. So everything is about this now. I think with this decade will all be about like a consciousness awareness of like humanity becoming more aware of what it's really about. And we don't want to sit all the time behind our computers any longer. We want to hug people. We want to feel people. We want to do things together. Because when we are with people in physical spaces, our neurons are connecting. Yeah. So we literally connect with each other. We feel each other. We see things move, and then ideas and collective intelligence can emerge much faster. So another one is ancient futures. Do you understand the term ancient futures? It's basically a term that was invented by a lady who wrote a book on Ladakh, which is a Tibetan village in the north of or southwest of Tibet, northeast of India. And that village was literally for thousands of years, they had a super prosperous community, and they live in the desert. And people were always happy. But now with the coming of the Western civilization, everything is in decline. You know, it's polluted, plastic pollution, there's unemployment, there's drug addicts and all that. So, and we can see how Western society and Western consumerism is actually killing old civilizations, yeah, or old wisdom. And what we know also that there's a lot of tribal wisdom that is still existing that can now is returning to the Western world and influencing the Western world on the other side. And what we can learn from all these tribes. For example, we have done a couple of ceremonies with the Yawanawa tribe from the Amazon, and they have 2,500 plants in their Amazon garden that they master to heal themselves, not just all as hallucinogenics, but also just to heal themselves, yeah, and their people. You want me to stop here?
Yes, because.
But I have one slide to do that I want to do. I'll take it out the next week. So this slide, for example, this is the root of, this is the pyramid of mastery, yeah, of life mastery. This is inspired by Tony Robbins. And basically, what is happening in society is everybody is focused on finance, career, mission, and time. Everything is related to that. Everybody's focused on that. I need to make money. I need to have a career. I want recognition. I need a mission. And I need time to do all those things. Yeah. However, all the beautiful things, or what are the bottom line for humanity and for well-being, is about our physical well-being, our emotions and meaning, our relationships. And so while society is collapsing, or half of the working class people, working people, are basically going in burnout, it's because of this, because we don't spend time any longer to the foundation of what makes us happy. And then if we're lucky, we can go to contribution and spirituality. So I'm going to thank you for this now. I'll do more next week then.
Amazing.
That was super short for me. Normally I talk for hours.